Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
Boy, here we go.
It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare. And those people didn't deserve to be respected and held and talked to. Those are the people who are going to pay the price for whatever Donald Trump decides to do.
Yeah, but Van, how do we know that those people didn't vote? A large portion of those people aren't a part of the people that elected Donald Trump.
Well,
right? I think that's a good part of the electorate. And the black women, the party, the Democratic Party, let those black women down.
Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination.
We still have an electorate, 70 million plus, that will be voting for a man who said he was going to assassinate for treason the chairman of the Joint Chiefs because he didn't support him on January the 6th, who has said just in recent days he was going to execute Liz Cheney with a firing squad, 9 guns pointed and shooting at her face. A man who has said that he was going to shut down CBS because he didn't like how they edited an interview. A man who said he was going to be a dictator from day one. A man who said he was going to terminate the Constitution. A man who said he was going to use the army and he was going to use the National Guard on his political opponents. I literally could go on all day.
You just think about just the last 2 weeks and the things that Donald Trump has said into the TV that people could hear him say and do, the vulgarity in front of families with young children, and the threats to do mass deportation and a violent start to his dictatorship on day one, and you name it. If all of that gets you half of the votes,
48, 49%.
What does it tell you? I mean, we need to really take a step back and think about what does that say about us.
I'm sorry. No! Why? Why? What the
You got to give me a good reason, at least 2, why you don't like Trump.
He's racist. Yup, boo me.
Use Google.
Thank you guys.
Okay, so let me ask you a dumb question. Can you define what does it mean to be racist?
Do you want me to look up a definition?
No, I want you to. You said he's a racist, so you must have a definition of racism in your mind. Tell me what that definition is.
Okay, so, I'm gonna make you guys wait on this. Ooh, zero knowledge.
Guys, please don't heckle. I want to try to understand because these words have a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
But you can't get. I know it's hard on the spot. I just want you to think about it because if you say Trump is a racist, you should be able to easily give a definition of what that word means.
So it's hatred towards another race, right?
So when has he ever exhibited that? Give me clear and specific examples.
You got one? Well, yeah, I heard someone say he told. Yes!
Okay, but let me just help you out here.
Uh-huh.
What, you think he's a racist because the media has told you he's a racist? Because you can't give me an example off the top of your head, and even when you phone a friend to the audience. I'm not criticizing you. Maybe the media is lying to you. Maybe the man who's being called a racist is actually someone that's trying to improve lives of all Americans.
I think this is fun, guys, so...
I'm saddened that I live in a country that would back a president that incited violence in this nation and has really disrupted the humanity that most of us believe in.
Why did America not vote for Kamala Harris?
Number one, she's the first woman. Secondly, she's a black woman. America is we're dealing with racial inequality. Well, we're a split country right now. And that's the sad thing about it. We need to unify.
What's your message to her?
I would just say you did it all. You left nothing out there. You ran a brilliant campaign. Unfortunately, the country wasn't ready for you.
The stage was ready, but in the end, Harris failed to materialize, as did her dream to become America's first female.
What's going on?
I'm done. Cut the show.
I really do not like crying on the internet, but I'm not even about to pretend like this some shit that I'm finna be embarrassed about, bro. Like, I ain't never been so fucking devastated behind an election. And it's just like, when you a black woman surrounded by black men and they say all this shit like, oh, he's not that bad and oh, he just hates everyone, bro. Like, it was my brother homeboy I was talking to the other day, a black man, and I found out that he's a Trump supporter. I'm like, he does not like you. And he was like, oh no, he just don't like everybody. What? So that's a good candidate for you? Someone who just fucking hates everybody? Like, what? And I'm fucking crying in my room this morning. My brother gonna come up in here and say, what's wrong with you? Like, he can't think of one possible reason why I would be upset right now, bro. These niggas are so fucking, they live on another planet. And it's because none of this shit affects men. That's why. Men don't give a fuck about nothing that don't directly affect them. If it does not directly affect men, they do not give a fuck. And motherfuckers hating women is the whole reason he got elected in the first place. The first time he got elected, he ran up against a woman. Second time he ran up against a man, and it wasn't even a good fucking candidate, and he lost. He ran up against a woman again, and he won. Because y'all just fucking hate women. That's all it is. We couldn't even get a white lady in office. Of course they wouldn't go vote for no fucking black lady. And it's like people just, either people don't give a fuck or they're genuinely not grasping how fucked this shit is. And it's just like somebody commented on my last video when I was like in the club, we all crying, talking about, oh, y'all are so dramatic. Dramatic? This is dramatic? Like, this is an extreme underreaction. Dramatic would be marching down to that fucking White House and burning that bitch down. That's dramatic. You don't want to see dramatic. This is nothing. We are fucked. We're literally doomed for the next 4 years at the very least.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Hey everybody, I know some of you are upset that Kamala lost, but here's an idea to show support, ladies. Post a picture of your feet with the caption, "I'm still standing." That way she knows you still support her.
Hey, boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Shame.
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 Boy, ain't no way,
Shame.
boy. Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
Shame. Shame.
Oh, hell no.
Get the
fuck out of here, bitch! What the fuck is this?
All right, but you ain't a black gonna be in the office, and his white is gonna be out. We're taking the trash out, loser. All right, we're in power now.
Have a nice day.
You have a wonderful day on the 5th, okay? You're gonna lose.
Okay.
And your leader,
Okay.
cult leader.
Bye-bye.
You dumb.
Donald Trump is president, and I think all women should stop having sex for the next 4 years. In protest and protection of your bodies. As we know, if that little baby inside you gives you any trouble and you need an emergency healthcare, you're fucked and you're gonna die. I think that is sufficient enough reason to stop having sex. Don't you agree? This vote wasn't a vote for Americans. This vote was for men. And unless we want to become the Handmaid's Tale, then us women need to protest because this is some buttery bullshit. I'm sorry to the women and minorities who aren't going to get the help that they need in the next 4 years. I'm sorry for the people who are impoverished who are just going to keep dying from starvation and lack of healthcare and lack of governmental support.
Get the fuck out of here, bitch!
This is kind of scary because I only realized this a couple of days ago and I've only come out to a few people. I'm a guy. I use he, they pronouns and I'm gonna go by Theo. I told my mom today and I have to go home every day and be called my dead name and have she, her pronouns used every time I go home. And no one realizes how hurtful it is. It's like a slap in the face. And I dyed my hair last night so I could feel more masculine, and I was afraid I was gonna get thrown out of the house. We love you, Theo.
Toughest guy. The toughest guy.
Women's rights are human rights. Yes. We should not be at risk for our lives. My friends who are trans, who are gay, should not have to risk for their lives every single day.
We are the ones affected by this, and we're only a year out from voting in the most important election. Us women, we are the ones getting affected. Our rights, our college next year, we are the ones who will be mainly affected by this.
This is amazing. I love this. I have 2 young daughters. I have a beautiful wife, and I know that Kamala Harris will fight for their rights. She is a young perspective. She's a person of color, and she is a good representation of our country.
Donald Trump is not good for this country. He wants to take away gender-affirming healthcare for minors, which directly impacts me. He is reducing gun safety laws, and He's making a very difficult environment for anyone who is a rich, cis-het man who voted for him.
What the fuck is this?
I know a lot of people in red states. I know a lot of trans people who will be personally affected by this. And I know that, people will die because of this.
I honestly don't know, and that's what makes me the most fearful.
I think it'll create a more hostile environment.
Trans people were already scared, and I think they have every reason to be, and I think that's even more true now. And I can't help but worry for especially people of color, trans people of color.
It's taken so long to get such little progress, and it can all go away in an instant. I honestly see the suicide rates going up.
Trump doesn't care about LGBTQ rights, doesn't care about black rights, doesn't care about women's rights. He wants to bring us back to a world where everyone is straight and white and thinks the same way. You guys think that the biggest obstacle right now is that we've elected Trump, but I'm telling you, JD Vance is the one we should be concerned about.
These are the kind of people that supported Kamala Harris. These are the people who wanted to be in control of making decisions in our country. We are still talking about real life possible wars on the horizon with foreign nations. And in the midst of that, we are over here talking about whether or not children with underdeveloped brains should have access to gender-altering medication and ultimately life-altering procedures, and a trans community that wants to make it normal. Instead of talking about economic policies and quality of life changes, we're talking about women's rights, as if women don't also have the right to close their fucking legs and stop using abortions as a form of birth control. The accountability marker for women in this country has been completely decimated and obliterated. Listen, the Democrats failed you all. They did. And what has become one of the greatest landslide victories in the history of political campaigns. And you have no one to blame but your weak and emotional selves. I can't lie to y'all. Knowing that all of you weird purple and blue haired people with all of your entitlement and warped thinking will no longer be given asylum in this country under the Trump administration makes my heart smile. It does. Knowing that there's someone to reverse and condemn all the programs that thought it would be okay to indoctrinate our children and share with them the personal identity crisis that you all have on a daily fucking basis. Anyone that believes it's okay to tell children of any age that it is okay to go against their biological nature in creation is a real life demon. And it's unfortunate that we even have to have this conversation, all because the world has catered to you all and sheltered you with this nonsense. And instead of calling it out for what it is, which is a mental illness, the Democrats decided it would be in the best interest of the United States to not only give a voice to the sickness, but to help it spread like wildfire. Jesus Christ. And to know that there will no longer be government-funded programs to cater to your sickness is absolutely refreshing. Listen, I don't know what all this Trump administration or this Trump regime will mean for Americans over the course of the next 4 years. But if this is where we're starting, then, hell, I believe the future is looking just a little bit brighter. See you all in the next one.
Shit on my mind, man, that's all. I'm a thinker, but that's who I am, though. I ain't got no apologies for you. Not at all. This shit is crazy. And it's crazy how this world is polarizing from the highs to the lows, where the drought meets the floods and the skies meet the roads.